Hello, Knowltonites. My name is Adam Johnson, and I am the parent of Amelie Johnson, a fourth grader at Knowlton Elementary School, and I am an anthropologist. And anthropology is an interesting discipline. It is a scientific study of who we are and where we come from. It's a study of humans and our relations. And so there are many different ways to be an anthropologist. There are some anthropologists that are archaeologists and they study human cultures in the past. There are linguists that study human language. There are cultural anthropologists that study human cultures that are around today. And there are biological anthropologists that study human biology, human fossils, disease, all kinds of stuff. My work as an anthropologist is studying human animal relations. So I'm interested in the ways that humans and animals get along with each other, in particular, humans and animals out in the wild. And to be an anthropologist, it takes a lot of schooling. You have to go to college and at least get a bachelor's degree. And with a bachelor's degree, you can work as a field technician on archaeological digs. You can work for nonprofit organizations helping communities. You can work for the government. You can work in marketing. There's all different kinds of directions that you can take a bachelor's degree in anthropology. But if you want to do research and teach, this requires you to go on to earn a PhD or a doctorate in anthropology. So you'd be a doctor of anthropology. And this takes a long time. Anthropology takes a little bit longer than most other doctorate degrees, mainly because one of the key features of anthropological fieldwork is long-term participant fieldwork. And this means going and living in a community and collecting data over really, really long periods of time. And so sometimes you're collecting data for 2 years or so before you can ever analyze it and publish it. And so it takes quite a long time to earn that degree, but it's really rewarding and really, really fun because you get to meet really interesting people and have really interesting conversations and learn about people's lives and then tell other people about what you've learned so that we can have a better understanding of one another. So my work as an anthropologist is kind of twofold. On one hand, I do work as a teacher. I teach at a college here in San Antonio and the university in North Carolina. And I teach all kinds of classes. I teach classes in biology. I teach classes in evolution. I teach classes in different cultures. I teach classes on infectious disease. So I'm teaching lots and lots of different kinds of classes because anthropologists do lots and lots of different kinds of things. On the other hand, I also do field work. So I do research, and my current research is with javelinas here in Texas. I study human javelina relations, and I'm interested in how people and javelinas get along in the environment. And so this is a picture that I took of one of the javelina groups that I work with out in the Texas Hill Country, and I'm interested how the environment plays a role in how humans and javelinas get along with each other, what kind of conflicts arise when they come into contact with one another. And I'm also interested in how feral hogs uh, mess up this relation between humans and javelinas. Javelinas aren't pigs, they're a Texas original, they're native to Texas. And with the feral hogs that have come in and started devastating the landscape here in Texas, javelinas often kind of get caught up in that conflict. And so I'm interested how that works too. I have also done work with chimpanzees. I've worked with chimpanzees at the North Carolina Zoo, studying human chimpanzee interaction, alongside a study of parasites in the chimpanzees and some behavioral work with the chimpanzees at the North Carolina Zoo. And this work was about 10 years ago that I started working with the chimpanzees. I go out to the field. I'm taking pictures. I'm observing behavior. And often, in many cases, like with my work with the rhesus macaques, I lived in a swamp by myself with the monkeys and the snakes and the mosquitoes and bears for months at a time, studying this behavior because I was interested in understanding how the rhesus macaques changed their behavior and their social lives as a consequence of being put into Florida instead of in India, where this particular group of macaques initially lived. As I said, I work with javelinas out in the hill country, and I get to spend a lot of time with them, and I've really come to love them. They're really small, cute little pig-like animals. They weigh probably 30 or 40 pounds, and they kind of look like pigs, but they're not pigs. They are a special kind of American animal. They live in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Mexico, and all throughout South America in the Amazon. This is a picture of chimpanzees that I work with. Tammy is the mom, and Ebby is the baby. And uh, it was really cute to be able to hang out with them and kind of see how the mothers and the babies get along with each other, and also how the people that go to the zoo and see the chimpanzees, what they think about them. So I got to talk to them and get to understand what people thought about what they saw in the chimpanzees. But I also got to talk to people that I get to watch people interact with the chimpanzees, of course, through class. So anthropologists, we do a lot of different kinds of things. My work as an anthropologist puts me into contact with really interesting people all over the place. And so to be an anthropologist, you really have to be able to learn to get along with other people, and you have to learn how to talk to people, and you have to learn how to communicate what people say to others. Because anthropologists spend a lot of time reading, we spend a lot of time writing. And so you have to be really good at reading, you have to be really good at writing. You have to be a very social person that likes to go out and meet new people because you're talking to new people all the time. But the great thing about being an anthropologist is you also make lots and lots of new friends. Because you work with people for such a long period of time, you end up making really great friends with them. So that's my favorite part of being an anthropologist, is I get to make friends with people that if I wasn't an anthropologist, I would never ever get to meet, which is, in my opinion, awesome. And one of the big things that attracted me to being an anthropologist. I'm a scientist, and science is a conversation. Scientists are always engaging in a conversation with each other. And so to be a really good scientist, it means that you have to be really good at teamwork. I have to write stuff, and I have to share what I write. I have to share my research with other scientists who read it, and then we talk about it, and then we try to make our science better and better and better. Um, I love meeting new people, and I especially love the teaching side of it. I love teaching students about anthropology. I love teaching students how anthropology can be useful for solving problems in the world, and all the interesting facts that anthropologists learn about the world. I also like my work schedule a lot. I don't have to work a 9 to 5 job. I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, and you don't really work 9 to 5. You work in bursts. You work really hard for a period of time, and then it's kind of easy going. And then you work really, really hard again in another period of time. And being a professor and doing research is exactly that, and it suits my personality really, really well. Some days I don't have to work too much. Some days I might work an hour or two. Other days I might work 10 hours in a day. But I often work 7 days a week, at least a little bit. And I'm always thinking, I'm always reading. I've got stacks of books everywhere um, that I'm, constantly going through. I'm writing papers. I'm writing articles, all kinds of cool stuff that I really enjoy doing because I like communicating science to other people. And when I was in school, going through school, the skills that really helped me be a good anthropologist were being able to read and write really well, being able to speak and communicate, um, exercising, playing sports was really important because I'm hiking up and down mountains and I'm chasing javelinas all over the place, and so I have to be fit in order to do that kind of thing. I have to be a very ethical person because I am constantly talking to people and I have to protect their identity. I have to respect them. And so it's really important as an anthropologist that you practice kindness and respect because people are giving you part of their time when you're interviewing them or when you're living with them. And so it's really important to respect their space and time. And I really love my job. And I hope that someday when some of you grow up, you decide you want to be anthropologists too, because we anthropologists are a really cool discipline that not a lot of people know about. It's a really cool job, and we really do make big differences in the world. And we get to do really interesting things. Take care.